Good morning, Forest Park. Today is March 17th, 2022. I'm Don Jones. I'm the city manager here in the city of Forest Park. Welcome to our show, Off the Cuff, where we try and give a little information about what's going on in the city. Today's St. Patrick's Day, so I hope everyone has a great St. Patrick's Day. Stay safe and get home on time and be safe. So today, last week, if you remember, I talked a little bit about our street program. I wanted to have a more detailed discussion about it. So today I have with me Mr. Scott Falkowski. He's our city engineer. He's a certified engineer in the state of Ohio, and he's handling our street program this year. And welcome, Scott. Give us a little information about our street program for 2022.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here today. We have a couple projects that are going on this year. One of them is a little bit larger project than normal. The first project is redoing Kemper Road and Winton Road. So from the intersection of Winton and Kemper, Kemper Road going down to Ken Road, and then also Winton down to Sharon.
It's a pretty large section there.
Yes, so a full rebuild of the road, of repavement, and also improving some of the ADA access, the curbs and sidewalks along the way, and also the drainage ditches that go along Kemper Road. With this project, replacing all the driveway approaches as well, so making a nice clean section up and down Kemper Road.
I'm sure the residents will love to see those improvements coming their way.
Another big part of Kemper is you have those parking lanes on the south side that go right into the ditches. We're going to smooth those out and put some flush curbs on there, so it's a nice defined edge for people to park, to leave that parking in place, but also make it a little safer for the drivers down that area.
Yeah, it's a tough place. It's a tough situation there because we have the open swales through there that are for the rainwater and stormwater, but we also have to have people able to park their cars. So hopefully we'll be able to keep everyone on the pavement and out of the mud, so to speak.
Yes, that's the goal. As you drive down the road, you see that the state of the road is in disrepair right now. We've come through and we've done some patching, we've done some seal crack replacement all through that area, but now it's time to go ahead and repave the roads. It's finally time to make sure that we get those upgraded.
And you know, it's going to be a nice big project, and we'll be notifying the people when it starts, and obviously we'll have traffic control through there. So we hope everyone really just gives us a little bit of patience as we're going through this project, but I think the results will speak for themselves. And these are two of the main streets that everyone travels, and they represent our city, so we need to make them look really nice. And this is going to be a great project for us.
Also with this, just to let people know about it, we received some grant funding as part of this. So this is not just out of the city's general fund or out of just the stormwater funds. We did receive some grant funding from SORTA, which is the bus company, as they go through. And there's some additional things that they were looking for in improving our bus traffic and capabilities.
Yeah, this is a tremendous opportunity for us that we took advantage of it, and we want to thank SORTA for giving us this grant, but it's over $1.2 million approximately, and it's going to help us, allow us to complete these projects in a timely manner that, you know, without using our city funds or as much of our city funds to get them finished. So it's a really great opportunity that the city's been able to leverage grant funds to accomplish many of the things we want to do. So tell us a little bit about what's going to include it, since this is a SORTA grant. It's got more than just pavement.
Yeah, sure. They're doing a couple of different things. That they did a big study on the area about ridership and who uses the buses and how they do access it. So the first part is moving some of those stops to like the other side of the intersection, where it's best used for where a bus will stop and how that affects traffic in the area, whether it's before an intersection or after an intersection. Also included is better ADA access, so that the sidewalk connections that get to those bus stops, to make sure it's a paved area, that people don't have to walk through grass to get up onto the bus.
That's great.
Also, we're improving, adding some more shelters and benches, bicycle racks, and then also trash cans along the way.
Well, that's some of the things that from the citizens of Forest Park they've been asking for for years, and we're now able to, through this grant and through this improvement project, basically improve those shelters so that they are top of the line. They're great amenities, and they're going to look really nice when they're in.
The other part of this, is, we'll call it phase 2 of the Winstonkemper project, is we have another grant in right now that we are waiting to see if we get funded for, is new pedestrian and bike access along Winton from Sharon Road up to Waycross as safe routes to schools.
Yeah, that's important because with the new schools, we need to make sure that we see kids walking on Winton Road, and it's just very unsafe, and we want to improve that as best we can, make it a lot safer. So that Safe Route to Schools program will be really nice if we can get that grant.
Yeah, so that would include an actual sidewalk up the way, and then also a protected bike lane. So actually painted, and then actually have a barrier between the drive lanes and the bicycle path.
So that goes a long way. Kind of goes two-handed here. Not only does it protect the students in terms of their ability to walk there, but it also eventually it'll hook in with some of our bike lanes that are planned for the future as well throughout the community, that will hook into larger biking systems and trail systems. So hopefully that'll allow us to begin this project and begin that process of connecting those.
So the next part is our 2022 annual street program.
And these are the interior streets, more those large, like Winton and Kemper, those are arterial streets, or larger streets. These are the streets that are more interior to the neighborhoods.
Yes, so we've got a projected list that we are going through right now, and that we will be presenting to City Council at a future date. Those are Bessinger Road from McElvey to the cul-de-sac, Harkin Road, there's 2 sides of the cul-de-sacs there, Lincolnshire Road at the northern end from Kingsbury to the cul-de-sac, and then Waycross Road from Brunner to McElvey down in the southeast corner of the city. So these are areas where we have looked at our pavement rating conditions that are in the red. They're the areas that need the most work. There's other streets like that out there that we're continuing to look at as well. And if the bids come in and the numbers are looking good, we're going to try to do more of those too.
Yeah, we try and spend about $500,000 on the interior program every year. And sometimes that goes a little farther, sometimes it doesn't. And hopefully we can, depending on how the bids come in, like you said, be able to have a little bit more to do some other streets or do some more crack filling and other things too later on in the year, as we see how the budget and the bids come in. This is, tell us a little bit about how we pick those streets and how we rate our streets. I mentioned it a little bit last week, but a lot more goes into it than what I was able to explain in a short amount of time.
Sure. Each of the streets we actually drive from year to year and look at a number of different things. There's a rating that comes out that we come up with, a numerical rating, that's based on the life of the street, the number of cracks, the types of cracks. So whether it's just a longitudinal crack that just goes just down the street in a drive path or something like that, or if it's that alligatoring you see that kind of flakes off, that's
that's
worse.
bad when
Yes.
it starts looking like an alligator.
So part of those reasons of how those happen also is what we look into, whether the edge of the street has some drainage issues, so water is getting underneath that pavement and making
And that just might just be all we need to do, is just make sure that those types of things are taken care of, at least extend the life of the street.
Yes, so with that, and then also, the curbs, whether some streets have the curbs, some streets just have the roadside ditches. So that goes back to that drainage of how the water gets off the street and gets down into our stormwater system. Also, we look back at how the street was installed originally. There's been different types of pavements that have gone through the years and different technology of how it is. Some have been better than others. So some streets are lasting longer than others, but some need work at a sooner time.
And they need it more often because of the way they were originally built and the way they were laid out. I know there's a lot of streets, a few streets in town that were originally concrete and cement, and now they're paved, so I know that there's some issues with those types of streets as well. So it's good that, that we're actually going to each street. It's not just you, it's several staff people as well as some other engineers that go through every street and they lay eyes on it. That's important from our standpoint to be able to say, okay, it's a consensus of these are kind of the worst streets that we can find and fit within our budget to repair on an annual basis.
Yes. So we create a spreadsheet of all these numbers that we come up with, and then do a color-coded map.
And we use that map to really make these decisions and let people know. A lot of you ask everyone, their street's the worst, but and there are a lot of a lot of streets that we need to repair. So we want to make sure that we spend our money to repair the worst ones, extend their life. If we can do crack filling that extends the life of a street, 4, 5, 6, 7 years without having to completely rebuild it, we think, we'll try and do that before we get to the point where we have to do a lot of major construction on a street. So, and we've got experts and people that know what they're doing. So we think we're in good hands here.
And the last thing we look at is we try to hit all the areas of the city each year, try to spread it out a little bit so that we're not just fixing streets in one small neighborhood. So that part of it is, you may have one area that has a lot of streets that need fixed, and we'll try to get to them as soon as we can, but we'll spread it around the city.
Yeah, we need to make sure that all the areas of the city are equally represented and spread them out in each of the sections, whether it's the C section, H section, whatever, and try and move those. Make sure that all of those neighborhoods get some improvement, and I think that's very important, that we're trying to keep it fair and equitable for across the board to try and do that as much as we can in any event.
And then also this time of year, there's been a lot of potholes. So a lot of that filling is going on right now. We appreciate the citizens calling us and letting us know where those are so we can get out there and get those, what's called the cold patch in there before the asphalt plants really open, just get that back to a safer condition. And then also with the street program, we'll go out and make the real fixes to those areas to cut out some nice straight corners and do the right patching of those areas where the potholes.
Yeah, those cold patches are really just kind of temporary to make sure that the streets are safer. And then we come back later on, like you said, a lot of times in the wintertime, a lot of folks don't realize that the asphalt plants just shut down. And so they come in, what would be the construction season, and open back up. And that's when you can get the hot asphalt and put it in there and make it a more permanent patch. So they'll be opening up soon. What's the timeline for some of these things to get moving?
Sure. So the timeline, the first project, that Winstonkemper project, we actually have that out to bid right now, and the bids are due in on Friday, April 18th.
Okay.
So we'll get that information in, and then we'll have a recommendation to City Council to be able to start that project. That project is scheduled to begin in May, and could take a couple of months to completely be finalized. The street program itself, we're going to take a look at those numbers that come in with that proposal.
The first bids for the bigger projects to see how much really asphalt's gone up, because it is a petroleum-based product, and we all know where the gas prices and the oil prices have been lately. So hopefully we'll see what the pricing is on this year's construction.
Yes. So timing on that is usually around August is when that program goes through, and those streets will be replaced in that time frame. So we also want to, like I said, thank all the citizens and continue to encourage them to call in and let us know where you see some of those areas to keep us on track of where the areas that need to be fixed are. Yeah,
we definitely need to know. We try and travel the streets all the time. I drive them, you drive them, everybody drives them. But the best way for us to respond is citizens let us know where those major problems are, because they can happen really fast, and we need to get to them really fast. And so yeah, keep calling in. Go to our website, call in here at City Hall, and if you've got some issues with some of the streets and some major potholes, God, let us know. We really need to know that. I guess going forward, the next year, the year after, we'll continue this process. with the pavement condition ratings, and then those streets would do it again and again. And some streets that are yellow might turn red next year in terms of our map. And sometimes they go from green to red really fast, depending on how things go. But we try and keep that map up to date on an annual basis, and use that as our basis for making sound, logical decisions, information-based decisions on what we need to do. Anything else that we think we might need to be aware of? We're looking for in the future for larger projects and larger internal street programs. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about some of those things that might be coming up next year and the year after, on how those might be moving forward. Again, we'll bring those out to the citizens and bring it out to City Council as well, and we'll have a good public discussion about them. But tell us a little bit about something that we might be going forward with maybe it's streets or sidewalks are a big issue.
So a combination of that. So we are updating our PCR ratings again for the streets, and so we'll be trying to map out at least a 5-year plan of what those streets may be. But included in those streets, what we're looking at is those curbs and sidewalks and the aprons for everybody's driveways. So we'll be looking at how those can be replaced, because there's areas that those are starting to fail as well, or areas where the sidewalks have heaved a little bit because of either the weather or trees, the roots, those kind of things. So with that, looking at different funding options, more grant funding about how we can get these things paid for and these things repaired. So the sidewalk and the curb program will be another big piece of that looking forward.
And when you add up all the grant programs plus the city's money on this, it's well over $2 million this year in terms of our street program. And it's the streets that are picked as 2 major streets, I think will be a great improvement for the city, and I hope the citizens enjoy them and think that they're done right. So we look forward to getting that started. Well, Scott, thanks for coming in. I'm sure this is a lot of information valuable information for our citizens, and I want to thank you for coming in and giving us the time today to go over this project. Before we finish, though, I've got a few things that I want to make sure that, again, that the citizens are aware of. It is tax season. Tax season is up through April 15th, so make sure you get in. If you have some local tax issues or you need to file your local tax, or you just need some help, come to City Hall, go online, set an appointment. We're here to help, and we're active and open all the way through the tax season. So if you need some questions answered, or you need help preparing a tax return that's a local income tax return for the City of Forest Park, come in. We'll be glad to help you out. In the Public Works Department, and a lot of people have been asking lately, is the chipper. When's the chipper going to start? So I want to let everyone know that the chipper program will be beginning the first week of April 4th. Make sure that you go to our website, put it out the right day. It's once a month. Get the correct date, put your stuff out that you need for the chipper program, follow the instructions, follow the rules, and we'll have a good program again this year. So that's starting in April. Finally, it's the Lenten season. I talked a little bit last week about going out and supporting your local charities, your local churches. Go out. They have a lot of fish fries, a lot of good places to eat. Go out and support your local charities, and they do good work, and they need these monies to help them get through the whole year. So help your charities out. Again, we need volunteers for the city as well. We've got a lot of programs coming up. If you want to volunteer for the city, help us out, volunteer, go to our website, and stay safe, Forest Park.